Hi, I'm John Maxwell. When the top companies in the world are looking for trainers, speakers, and coaches, there's one name that stands above the rest, and that's Maxwell Leadership. Our certified team members have gotten proven results for companies all over the globe, and our reputation, I'm proud to say, is second to none. Some of our members have risen to the top of their profession, including the one you're going to meet today. I proudly introduce you to my friend Bob Fabian Zinka.
Welcome to the Leadership and Success Podcast with your host, Coach BZ. If you need to develop into a better leader, this podcast is for you. If you want to achieve a greater level of success, this podcast is for you. His mentor, Dr. John C. Maxwell, said it best: everything rises and falls on leadership. We hope to inspire you today and provide you with an insight that has the potential to positively impact the trajectory of your life. Welcome to the Leadership and Success Podcast.
A new year means new opportunities, and today we're kicking off our New Year, New Job series to help kick down the doors of success. Octavia Goredema is the founder of a career coaching agency, and she's also the author of Prep, Push, Pivot, which releases Wednesday. She's about to school us on preparing for a new job, transitioning, pivoting, and working your way up that corporate ladder.
Good morning, Mike. Thank you so much for having me.
As a dual citizen of the U.S. and UK, Octavia is one of the youngest Black women to receive the honor of Member of the Order of the British Empire. Now, this is the highest civic honor one can receive by the Queen of England for exemplary work.
Oh, good morning, Nigel. Thank you so much. I'm happy to be here. You have to have the conversations as early as possible so that you have an understanding not only of communicating where you want to be in your organization, but also understanding.
This has been a year unlike any other for us, but you leave me constantly wondering, how does Dr. Fauci do it? In addition to government briefings and countless media interviews, I read that you're still an attending physician and treat patients every week. How do you manage your time, and how do you deal with burnout?
My name's Octavia Goredema, and I'm the author of Prep, Push, Pivot. I'm a career coach, but I recognize that most people just don't have the opportunity to work with a coach during the course of their careers. There's one opinion that matters the most when it comes to your career, and that's your own, because bosses are going to come and go, co-workers are going to come and go. But here's the thing, while we're trying to navigate our way through the workplace, so many of us are dealing with bias or perceptions of tokenism. So if you're in that situation, I want you to remember this. The role you have is yours. And so if I had the opportunity to spend that day with my loved ones, then that's all I could possibly ask for. It's my anything that could even be connected to me comes through me and my daughters, and whatever they go on and do next. So yes, anytime with them, it's an incredible day spent.
Then let me ask you this then. When you wake up in the morning, is there a specific problem you would like to solve?
I'm endlessly curious. So while I'm not necessarily thinking it's a problem I want to solve, I'm often thinking, what can I learn today? I think that's why I love listening to podcasts so much. And I don't watch TV unless it's Nottingham Forest, because when I'm listening to a podcast, I always learn something. Always. And I listen to a podcast every single day. So I love learning, and then I will try and apply it. Sometimes it's immediate. That happened with me actually already today. I applied something that I heard on a podcast yesterday. I applied it this morning. But then other times it's actually me just absorbing and thinking. So if you'd have told me when I was at school that I'd be an endless student, I don't know if I'd have believed you, but I really am. I
Yes.
really am. And that's why I love being on LinkedIn, actually. And that's how we connected. The reason I love being on LinkedIn is because I'm constantly learning. Every single time I log into that platform, I see something on that feed that
Mm.
teaches me something that I didn't know. And I love that.
That is really powerful. I don't want to put you on the spot, but if you can let us know some of the podcasts you listen to, I think we'd like to subscribe.
Oh, yes, of course. Well, now we're putting, I'm going to be listening to every episode that follows of the Leadership and Success
That is really
podcast.
powerful.
Deepak Chopra has
Yes, I love him.
so many audio resources,
Yes.
podcasts and audiobooks.
Mm.
They are my constant companions
Yes.
that I go to over and over again. But then also, because I'm testing new things in my work, I will often just put into search a topic of something that I'm curious about and see what comes up, and I will listen to the episode for that. So it's not always that I'm religiously going to someone's podcast. And the other thing that I do is when I listen to something and it's helpful to me, I might listen to it 3 times. So I'll go back and listen to it again. And all of a sudden it got me thinking, I want to try that too.
Wow. That is really powerful. I believe Nelson Mandela said, right, it's impossible until it is done. But before you can do the
Yes.
impossible, you really have to think that you can actually do it. That it's a possibility out there, and it may as well be you. So the last question I'm going to ask you for the first segment is how do you see technology, especially emerging artificial intelligence, changing the way leaders coach, mentor, and evaluate teams?
Oh my goodness, it's changing everything in real time. Just yesterday, someone connected with me on LinkedIn and I just sent a note saying thank you so much for connecting with me. And she voluntarily told me that she learned about my work via AI. And and I have no idea how that happened, but there in real time is someone who hadn't heard of Octavia Goredema before, hadn't read my book, hadn't perhaps seen my profile popped up on LinkedIn, but had heard about me and my work via a tool that none of us were even thinking about or using in our day-to-day work just even in a few years ago. It's transformative. I also know, though, of course, there were so many unknowns about how it's going to impact all the things that we considered to be true, all the things that we had prepared for or built towards in terms of how we think about our work and our roles, and this heightened emphasis on being as efficient and fast as possible. If we can use it to help our work is great. But I think the one thing to also remember is that whether you're at the start of your career, the middle of your career, or more senior in your career, your experiences and your connections and your perspectives are so valuable. And that human connection is really powerful. And we should find ways, even as we perhaps use tools to augment.
Hello, everyone. This is Coach Busy. Thank you for being with me this morning. Today is Monday, October 6th. And today we are going to have a 10-minute recap of the wonderful leadership conversation I had with Octavia Goredema. You can watch the full episode, which is on season 4, episode 83. So it's about an hour long or so, but this one here is going to be the 10-minute recap done by my AI agent. Uh, Before we get started with that, let's have our moment of gratitude. It takes less than a minute, and we do it every time we meet, which is daily on this show. Let's think about one thing that we are grateful for today. So, if you can, close your eyes, put yourself in your happy place, take a deep breath, and think, what are you grateful for today? I think for me, I'm really grateful for my daughters. It's really amazing becoming a father. I remember when I became a father for the very first time, we knew we were expecting a child. I think I grew up right away. I became a man uh, pretty much overnight. And just the realization that I am now in charge of the life and well being of a whole human being It's just amazing. I thank God every day for my children. All right, if you would type in the comment what you are grateful for today. So what we will do now is we are gonna go to the 10-minute recap again of the hour-long leadership conversation I had with Octavia. And if you have a question for me, please type it in the comment. And also, as you're listening to it, think about three takeaways from the episode, and also one leadership lesson that you are going to be able to apply this week. Uh, of course, like I said, I want to know what you are grateful for today, but also let me know where you are tuning in from, what city, what state, and which country, if outside of the USA. Thank you so much, and I really do appreciate that. Also, tag a colleague, a friend, a junior officer, a teammate, somebody you believe will benefit from this podcast. So, here, let's go to the 10-minute recap.
Welcome, everyone. Today we're diving into some rich insights on leadership, especially the lessons from Octavia Goredema on knowing your worth, using your voice, and leading with courage.
Absolutely. There's so much here, and it hits on both personal leadership and service to others, right?
Exactly. I mean, one key point is how leadership is so fundamentally about service and representation, not just titles. It's like, true leadership means making yourself available for others, being that supportive pillar.
Yep,
It's not about just being in charge.
right. It's really servant leadership in action. There's this idea that if someone's watching, you must model the behavior you want to see.
Yeah. And then there's the part about self leadership, knowing your worth even when external recognition isn't there. It's like, you have to be your own
Yeah.
biggest cheerleader. Count your wins even when the world doesn't immediately give you a high five.
I dig that. It reminds me of a time when I had to push through a project without any external applause, and it was all about looking back and seeing how far I'd come.
Absolutely. And that naturally ties into the idea of documenting your wins. Octavia talks about using tools like Fire Memos, simple yet incredibly impactful, to track your daily successes. It's like, building a tangible record of resilience. This simple practice can really boost your confidence.
It does, and it gives you that concrete evidence when you're questioning your abilities. But I wonder, don't you think sometimes focusing on wins might overshadow the lessons from failures?
That's a great point. Actually, Octavia emphasizes that failure itself is formative. It's not just about collecting wins, it's equally about learning from the stumbling blocks.
Exactly.
So, in a way, both successes and setbacks are key to growth.
True, this dual perspective really touches on preparing you for moments when you might feel like an imposter. I love how she flips the narrative. Feeling like an imposter means you're caring deeply about the work.
Right. That's such a refreshing take. Instead of seeing imposter syndrome as a sign of weakness, it's reframed as evidence that the stakes matter. It's like, the energy of fear can be channeled into anticipation if you're willing to work with it.
Yep,
That transformation is so powerful.
and it resonates especially with people stepping into leadership roles, be it military officers or tech leaders in Silicon Valley. There's this universal lesson about embracing vulnerability as a strength.
Absolutely. Speaking of military and tech leaders, the call to amplify others is another masterstroke here. It's not just about you, it's about inviting, supporting, and elevating those around you. It's essential leadership in a real-world sense.
But here's where I have a bit of a challenge. Sometimes, in highly competitive environments, it's hard to practice amplification without feeling like you're giving away your best ideas. How do you reconcile that?
That's a valid critique. But consider that leading with courage means making that decision intentional. Octavia suggests, by amplifying others, you actually build a more trustworthy environment. It's not about losing your edge, but rather creating a
Exactly.
symbiotic network. Mutual growth, you know?
I see that now, kind of like reverse mentorship. She also highlights learning from younger generations, right? It's such a forward thinking approach.
Exactly. Reverse mentorship is a key aspect of modern leadership. It's amazing how leaders can gain fresh insights and innovative ideas by listening actively to someone 20 or 30 years younger. It shows that leadership isn't about a hierarchical accumulation of wisdom, but about openness to learn from all corners.
And that ties back to the question of representation, doesn't it? Leadership should be a mosaic of diverse viewpoints, ensuring everyone gets heard.
Absolutely. Representation and paying it forward go hand in hand. Octavia's insights remind us that our choices, like who we bring into the conversation, determine the impact
Right.
we have. It's a call to foster inclusivity intentionally.
I also love the simplicity behind the idea of the courage to ask. It's such a fundamental lesson. If you don't ask, you won't get. But sometimes, asking can feel intimidating, don't you think?
For sure, it's easier said than done. But Octavia's experience, like her moving across the world without a network and then eventually transferring to LA, shows that asking can be transformative.
Yes,
Every no moves you closer to a yes.
that's inspiring, and it beautifully frames the broader concept of redefining success. For her, success isn't a destination, but a discipline, right?
Exactly. It's about trusting yourself during those in-between times and making deliberate, consistent efforts.
Absolutely.
It's like sculpting your own legacy daily, rather than waiting for the perfect moment.
I like that analogy. A sculptor chipping away at a masterpiece every day. And in that process, the lessons of failure become the chisel that refines your work.
Yes, failure is never final, it's formative. There's a kind of nobility in learning from your setbacks, and that mindset can fuel long-term growth.
Right.
Even when the journey seems daunting, the belief that you can learn and grow makes all the difference.
And let's not forget the real life call to action. Whether you're a naval junior officer or a tech leader, these lessons push you to reflect. Who are you making yourself available to? What wins are you capturing?
Exactly. It's a practical exercise in leadership, writing down achievements, however small, and building that leadership presence. It's not just theory, but a call for active, intentional practice.
I really appreciate that grounding in actionable steps. But I do wonder if sometimes this approach might feel overwhelming for someone just starting out in leadership.
I hear you, and that's fair. It might feel like there's a lot to balance. However, the idea is to start small, like begin with one task, document one win
Yeah.
a day. Over time, these little steps build a robust framework for growth.
That makes sense. It's about building momentum gradually, just as any major transformation starts with a simple decision.
Exactly. And all these lessons, from self-worth and servant leadership to the courage to ask, are interwoven. They form a dynamic playbook for leading with courage and clarity.
Absolutely.
A playbook that's as relevant in the US Navy as it is in Silicon Valley.
Which really underscores the universality of these principles. Whether you're in a boardroom or on a ship, leading with integrity and a sense of service resonates.
Right on. It's like these leadership lessons aren't confined to one sector. They apply across military, tech, and even creative industries. It shows
Yeah.
that leadership is truly multidimensional.
It is. And one thing that really struck me was the moment Octavia recounts being honored by Queen Elizabeth II. That kind of recognition isn't just a medal or a title, it's a reminder of the responsibility that comes with leadership.
Absolutely. That honor reinforced the idea that leadership carries weight and a duty to pave the way for others.
Right.
It's not personal glory, it's about service and impact on communities.
It makes me think every leader, regardless of the platform, is an ambassador of their values, and that ambassadorial role means you're constantly setting examples.
Right? And that's why documenting and celebrating wins is so crucial. It helps anchor your identity as a leader, even when external validation wanes.
Yep.
It's your personal record of impact and resilience.
So, if you tried to extract one leadership lesson from Octavia's journey, what would that be?
I'd say it's the idea that you have everything you need within you. Dream big, pursue what excites you, and keep documenting your journey. That's a timeless reminder for anyone stepping into leadership.
I love that encapsulation. It really reaffirms that leadership is as much about inner work as it is about outer actions.
Exactly. And as we wrap up our discussion, the emphasis on self-validation and consistent effort shines through. Leadership isn't static. It's a continual evolution rooted in action, service, and learning.
Absolutely.
It's a journey that transforms not just individuals, but entire communities.
These insights are something every leader should mull over, whether you're making tough decisions in a crisis or mentoring the next generation. There's a lot to take away.
Right. And for anyone listening, think about this. Who are you making yourself available to today? And how are you capturing your wins to build that leadership presence?
Exactly.
It's a question that can redefine your leadership journey.
I hope these reflections spark some real action. It's about stepping up and being that catalyst for change across all sectors.
Well said. Let's keep championing for a leadership style that empowers, uplifts, and transforms. Remember, leadership is a collective journey. Thanks for this energizing conversation, and let's continue making an impact one day at a time.
Absolutely. It's been a great exchange of ideas. Till next time, keep leading with courage and clarity.
All right, thank you so much for watching. If there is one thing I've learned from Octavia is that you really have to add value to people, right? Value people and add value to them, even when you may not make a transactional exchange, because eventually I think it's going to come back to you. If you can help someone, do so. If you can be kind to somebody, do so. I think that is quite powerful. And I also want to say hi. There is I guess, a gangster. Chai City Strategies is the code name they use on Twitch. They're just saying hi. Thank you for being here. So I don't see any question on LinkedIn or YouTube. So I'm gonna play two more highlights from the conversation I had with Octavia. Again, I encourage everyone to please go ahead and follow Octavia on LinkedIn. LinkedIn.com in Octavia Goredema. Follow her and also watch the full episode, right, which is season 4, episode 83. All right. Okay. Uh, Tomorrow I'm gonna be back. I'm gonna have a 10-minute podcast recap with a conversation I had with Captain Michael Saleh, U.S. Navy. You do not want to miss it. That's going to be tomorrow morning. All right. One thing you are grateful for today, and if you have a question for the amazing Octavia while we have her live on LinkedIn, thank you so much. So, who are some of the people that you follow or that you have learned from that you think my audience should get to know?
Oh my goodness. It's not possible for your audience to follow them, but my daughters. Oh my gosh. My daughters teach me so much every single day, every dinner time. I'm like, say that again. there's, there's some reference or some meme or just some topic that they are teaching me. The story that I just told about trusting my voice and starting with conversation. Do you know where I learned that from? My eldest daughter.
Wow.
She was watching me struggling with, like, I think a deadline was coming up, and she's like, "What are you doing, Mom?" I was like, "I'm trying to write this thing and I'm really stuck." And she's like, "Why don't you just talk to the page?" I was like, "Pardon?" And she said, "Look, hit that button there and just start talking." And I was like, so that's what I did.
That is just wonderful. Yeah, when I was a commanding officer, it's a really big deal in the U.S. Navy. It's really surprising how these days, right? You have more than 4 or 5 generation working at the very same time, and motivating Gen Zs, no, my kids' age, it's
Yes.
challenging at times. So definitely, my daughters they taught me how to motivate people from their generation because
Oh
they
my gosh,
so much.
so much, so much. My other daughter, who's Gen Alpha, she loves Roblox and she wanted Robux, the currency that you use in the game. And I was like, no, you're not getting that. So she asked it quite a few times because she's good at asking, and the answer was still no.
Yeah.
So then she decided she was going to earn her own Robux, and she opened a store in the game. And she just told me last week she just sold her 4,000
Whoa,
unit of clothing in this store.
that's
And
amazing.
she's built a business in the game.
How old is she? You don't want to
She's
share?
13.
Wow, these kids they just blow my mind. But this is the other thing too. Even as a CEO, I was talking to my my triad, the second in charge, and the enlisted leader, trying to figure out the problem. We just couldn't come up with a solution. Then I invited in all of my department head, all officers, about 12 of them. We couldn't come up with a solution. And then I decided, okay, I made myself vulnerable and I opened it up to the entire unit.
So many things I hadn't thought would be different were. But of course, that's what happens. You have to leave behind your assumptions and be ready to embrace what's new and embrace that wholeheartedly. And I'm so glad that I moved out of my comfort zone. I started over, a new country, a new home, a new everything, no network. And it was maybe the most important shift I could ever have made, even though at the time I assumed it was a temporary one. Of course, benefit of hindsight now 20 years later. But yes, there was a lot that I had underestimated that I needed to learn and be patient and embrace.
Wow, that is quite powerful. And I think many of us know, depending on what we go through in life, it may not be such a radical shift as going from England to the US, but people may change job or get their first leadership opportunity or something. And I think it's important to kind of know how to navigate, through those changes in life. So thanks so much for sharing. Now, you also often talk about knowing your worth matters, right? Even when it's not reflected back at you. How does that principle tie into self leadership?
It was a really important lesson that I personally had to learn, and I learned it the hard way. I think for many, many years, going through school and then applying to university and then working through university and then starting your career, I viewed measures of success in terms of what was reflected back at me. Did you get that job offer? Did you get that grade? Did you get the feedback? And of course, when you're going through firsts, and we go through so many firsts, in our early years in education and in our early years of our career, and we don't want to make a mistake. We want to show that we're capable and we're ready and we're able. It took me a long time to learn that there were skills and attributes within me that might not be recognized by someone else, but they were so valuable and they mattered. And they mattered whether you got the job offer or whether you didn't get the job offer.
Thank you for listening to the Leadership and Success Podcast with your host, Coach BZ. If you like what you heard, please subscribe to our channels and come back for more wisdom nuggets on how you may develop into a better leader and achieve greater levels of success. Leadership is the most critical skill. The world will always need leaders to lead others, deploy the next disruptive technology, or execute a business strategy. You may as well decide on counting yourself among the 21st century leaders. See you right here next time on the Leadership and Success Podcast with Coach BZ.